like you have to have like a little bit of resistance to see like how much you actually know about anything. Like
Yeah,
half of the whole waking up process is kind of cutting your teeth on defending what you've learned, you know?
right. And
Like
then
that's how you solidify all that stuff.
that's what they removed from society too, where they would remove bullying. And trust me, bullying can go way too far, but now it's like if you just
Yeah.
tease someone a little bit, they're like, oh, it's just bullying and everything like that. And that stuff's I think that stuff's really good for people because they learn how to fight back and defend themselves. They learn how to handle it. Even if they don't handle it well as a
Right.
kid, they experience it more and more. Obviously, I'm not saying kids should be jumping another little kid or anything like that, but when it's just some light teasing or something like that, I think that shit's really good for them. And then they also removed that too. Like
Yeah.
when I was a kid, it was like there was people you were friends with and people you weren't friends with. But nowadays, the kids growing up, they're like all friends on social media. And then so a kid posts a drawing on
Mm-hmm.
social media that they did or something, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's great, it's awesome." And when I was a kid, or when I first got into like the graphic designs and shit, I'd post them on these message boards I'd go on, and these guys would be like, "Yeah, that sucks, bro." And I thought it was
The
so
shit
good, and
all
I'd be
over
like, "Oh man," I was like,
it.
but it made me like get better. You know what I mean? If I thought it was good, I would have just probably rested on my laurels and stayed where I was. And they're kind of removing that.
Right. Right. Like there was I know there was one like hardcore scene like message board like not pop was one and I can't remember. Oh, lamb goat was another. And it was basically just like message boards where like the people who were running it like would promote like different bands having album releases or whatever or news about this band is on tour for whatever, and like you just the whole purpose of the entire website was just to look at the comments and seeing like people roast whatever band it was regardless of who they were, you know, just to like figure out what sort of way you could just like take a little bit of a jab at them because it was funny.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to remove that even now from the internet, and they call it hate speech, and they almost call it like racism, even though it has nothing to do with race. It's just like a catch-all term
No,
at this
nothing
point
at
to,
all.
yeah, it's a catch-all term to just kind of like shut down any wrong thing they don't want on there. They just say hate speech or racism or something like that. And then obviously that's what
Right.
the freedom of speech is, disagreeable speech. That's what the whole point of it is supposed to be. And then the right of assembly,
Exactly.
the right of assembly and everything like that's being taken away right now in front of our very eyes, like, and nobody's doing anything about it. Yeah, it's almost like they bring out these events every so often that are like where all of the consciousness focuses on like the moon landing, obviously JFK, Challenger, 9/11, obviously, right, and now this. I almost
Yeah.
wonder if these moments in time where they get everyone focused on the hyper focus of collective consciousness on one thing, if these are almost what you would consider like an upgrade to your operating system of your mind or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, it's almost like they get you all there for whatever reason. So who knows what kind of like subliminals or whatever they have in these videos that you're watching, like of the towers falling. What if there was like a subliminal behind there, and then everyone sat home and watched it all day over and over and over and over, and it just kind of program you. So it's almost like when Windows
Right.
updates or something like that. So it seems like to me that's when they choose to get you on these things, but they're always like a traumatic thing. Also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not good. It's
Because
not a
it's like
good
it's
update.
almost sorry. Go ahead. What?
No, I was just saying it's not like a good update. Just like we're saying the YouTube interface gets
Right.
worse and worse and worse, and like Windows gets worse. So it's like when I'm saying they're updating humanity's consciousness, yeah, it's getting worse.
Exactly. And it's like they set it up almost like it's a node where it's like one major trauma event, and then like anything and everything from either past stories or future events, like to some degree, like for 9/11, like that has so many different things that we can look up and pull up, like the card you can see it was in the past and it's in the future, like they almost like hardwire trauma events into like the brain and have everything just like subtly connect back to it, so it's like always, like you said, like a subconscious, like this is a new program that's been installed for you, and it's gonna like connect to everything else so that as much as it can, it's gonna be an influencer to how you perceive life.